Hello, welcome back. So, the Addams Family, an Evillution. I did read this recently. I did just read this. This was put together by H. Kevin Mizuroki, who is director of the T. and Charles Addams Foundation. Which has about half of Charles Addams' published works. So this book is it does collect all of the family strips, all the Addams Family comics. Also has some quick little blurbs about the various characters, including notes that Charles Addams himself came up with when some quick little notes he made himself when the comics were being adapted for the 1960s TV show. But yeah, the main appeal of this is the fact that it is all of the comics. So the first strip was published. Hard to say strip. The first comic was published in 1938. Give me a moment while I pull up that very first comic. The very first one was just Morticia. Yeah, so the first one was published August 6th, 1938. In the New Yorker magazine. Here we see, but the caption says, "Vibrationless, noiseless, and a great time and backsaver. No well-appointed home should be without it." And it's very interesting just sort of how, like, that's Lurch, but bearded. So that's sort of like a proto-Lurch. Up here, in the corner there, that is very much a recurring character in the strips. Possibly the Thing. It was never, like, whoever that character was, they were never named. Obviously, it looks nothing like the Thing that we know from everything else, from all the adaptations. But yeah, the guy who put this together, he speculated that that might be the Thing. And yeah, so that's sort of where it started. At that point, Addams had, like, he was just, coming up with a strip that he thought would be funny. He thought it would be an amusing comic. Vacuum cleaner salesman trying to sell a vacuum to this very much dilapidated house. It's got cobwebs everywhere. The lady is all goth and weird. It's a very unsettling looking house, and he's happily trying to sell a vacuum there. Haha. Yeah, it's just something that he thought would be lightly amusing, and it is. Especially at the time, especially for 1938, definitely would have been very amusing. Um, and from there, he did more strips featuring the various characters and introducing various characters. Uh, this is the second Morticia strip with a proper Lurch this time. She does not look anywhere near as glorious as usual, anywhere as beautiful as usual. The strip is, "Oh, it's you! For a moment you gave me quite a start." Because, Lurch, creepy looking, and she's not scared by him, haha. And, yeah, here's sort of the notes that he made. Head of the family, critical and moving force behind it. Low-voiced, incisive, and subtle. Smiles are rare. Costume is always the same. The form-fitting black gown, tattered or cut to ribbons at the elbows and feet. Occasionally she'll wear a shawl. She is a very interesting character. Maybe one of the most interesting things is just like learning about the various characters. How they were in the classic strips. For example, Wednesday and Pugsley in particular. Learning about them was particularly interesting because they are not what I sort of associate. Pugsley is just kind of evil. He's just an evil little boy, as so many little boys are. He's actually pretty smart. Genius in his own way, he makes toy guillotines, full-size racks, threatens to poison his sister, can turn himself into a Mr. Hyde with an ordinary chemical set. So he's a troublemaker and, like I said, kind of an evil little brat, as so many 9-year-old boys are. And Wednesday is not drawn how I usually picture her. She's got sort of those big circle eyes. Here's Pugsley throwing some tacks on the ground behind him. And yeah, notes on her: child of woe. Sensitive and on the quiet side. Don't really think of her as sensitive. Solemn child, and on the whole pretty lost. Secretive and imaginative, poetic, seems underprivileged and given to occasional tantrums. And yeah, it's just a lot of really funny strips of jumping rope at night. In this one, Morticia is telling Wednesday, well, don't come whining to me. Go tell him you'll poison him right back. Pugsley sitting in front of a bricked up wall. Come along, children. Time for your nap. Well, Pugsley is pulled a cask of Amontillado on Wednesday. This one's good too. It's the children back from camp. That one's a very funny one. And yeah, so I mean, it's really interesting seeing all the various strips. Some of them, there are some, I do not get the joke. Like, there are definitely some I just, like, the joke just goes right over my head. Either because they're dated, or it's just, you know, referencing something that's outside my wheelhouse. But I'm even just looking at it, I mean, like, just the art. I mean, you can just look at the art and admire it. Charles Addams was a hell of an artist, a hell of a cartoonist. Just, this one I love. It's like a, you know, swing set, but it's a broom. That's adorable. Like, that is genuinely adorable. I think that's a wonderful idea to have for kids anyway. I think a lot of kids would love that, something like that. Yeah, that's whimsical and everything. And yeah, I mean, so you read through and, like, they are a weird batch, but they're a family. And it's fun seeing them as a family. And it's interesting seeing the ways that that they kind of developed over time. This is not in chronological order, unfortunately, but it does explain, you know, it does go into some detail here and there about, you know, when certain strips came out, and, you know, explains sort of some of the changes that went on. In particular, with some of the sort of extended family, Uncle Fester, Grandma Frump, Granny Frump. Here's Uncle Fester's first appearance. Caption is, "A round trip and a one-way to Ossipal Chasm," which is a delightful joke. Just an absolutely delightful joke about a man planning to murder his wife. In as much as that kind of joke can be delightful, that one's really good. I do really like that joke. I mean, like, I hate my wife and want to kill her jokes. They're old and outdated now, but I mean, this is 1930s, 1940s. Yeah, this is like, at the time, this would have been fairly fresh. Here's another good one. He's at a liquor store. He's got a bag of concrete under his arm, and he's asking for a cask of Amontillado. Which, again, love. The internet has sort of warped my brain, so I really like references to the cask of Amontillado. Which, I believe which comes from a Poe story. And yeah, so I mean, just, you know, even when I don't get what the strip is trying to go for, it's still good to look. It's still nice to look at. And it still gives a little bit of insight into who the characters were sort of intended to be. And yeah, it does have a section on the Thing. So this is sort of... This strip might be where the Thing as a disembodied hand comes from. It's a pair of arms coming out of a record player to change the record. It's possible that might be where the idea comes from. That one came from a 1954 issue of the New Yorker, which is where most of these were published. Most of these, of the ones that were published, a lot of them were published in the New Yorker. And there's some really interesting sort of background characters. Yeah, like they don't really seem to be part of the family. They're just sort of weirdos that may or may not have actually been part of the family. Like, this strip has got some extra characters in it. One's got a bunch of different legs. There's a ghost. You can see someone popping over the wall. You can see someone climbing down the house. It's just a lot of very interesting stuff in it. And yeah, it makes for a very enjoyable read. Just learning about the origins of the characters, what their personalities were like as originally envisioned by Charles. Seeing how he sort of brought his dark wit to the idea of the family unit. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed reading this. If the Addams Family are something that you enjoy, then it is definitely worth getting this book. If nothing else, or if you just have an interest in comics, in like old comics and cartooning, it's worth getting. Because again, Charles Addams was a very good cartoonist. And it is often just really interesting seeing old comics like this. And how they influence things. Anyway, I think I've said enough. So, Addams Family, an Evillution. Good read. I recommend it. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.